Hi everyone. So my choice was Florida, the Sunshine State, but apparently this is actually a good symbol for Florida at this point. So there's an alligator and coronavirus, and Florida is running away. Now, so Florida has surpassed around 6.5 hundred thousand cases at this point, with a lot of death and a huge number of people is still like under recovery and so on. So uh, it's actually, to be honest, like one of the few states at this point where the number of cases are still going up. Mm, I would not say quite rapidly, but it's still. I mean, but it's still the number is quite high at this point. And I will not discuss that much about the timeline. It's almost a standard and there is not that much to discuss here, but I will basically discuss about like why we got these graphs from my perspective, like why is this so different and so on. So the main reason is actually the Florida actually reopened too quickly, and it can be argued that it actually closed later as well. So for example, like it was like until April to issue a stay-at-home order, which like California did on March 19. And also like just like in between the early May and early June, it reopened very quickly, like gyms, salons, bars, indoor dining. Even here, I believe in the New York, like some of these are like still opening very slowly, and some of these are not still completely open. So they actually opened very drastically, like within a month from complete lockdown to complete open up. And that actually like a lot of people became out because things were active and they're interacting with each other, and a lot of young people got affected, and obviously that also went to older population as well. Like I have a friend at Florida, very close friend. He says that during the entire duration he never felt like there was any lockdown or anything in Florida. It seemed that like life was going on as usual. So that's very interesting. And the other is that like even though there were a little bit of like health advice, people actually did not follow them. So the main reason I believe is that Florida has like lots of beautiful beaches and lots of places to go around, and also like it's a major tourist destination as well. And so and over weekend, not even weekends, like in many days, like beaches were like flocked by people, and most people did not face any restriction. And I believe this case, like Florida is a major tourist hub, and the economy and good chunk of it, I believe, depends quite a bit on tourism. And that's most probably one of the reasons that they took very lax measures and they tried to take it slow, and that actually backfired. Also, one particular challenge I believe is the governor himself. For example, like he was late in staying orders, he was quick in the opening, then he's reluctant to give mask orders as well. There are also very plausible allegation about data corruption, data manipulation, which will come around. But I believe it's tied to the state's economy, reliance on tourism and people going out, and his reluctance to like make sure that his reluctance to like so that the economy does not fall apart and so on. Also, so one particular thing that Florida is very famous about, like I think you've seen some of the memes. So what happened was that there was not like any state level guidance on masks. There was general guidance, but not any for implementation on like legal clauses and so on. So some of the counties, they tried to do that. There were town hall meetings, and it was truly bizarre, to be honest. You can see some of the quotes here. It has like everything from Bill Gates and Hillary Clinton, mask causes disease. And that's also some of the data also shows that like people in Florida, when they got the chance to go out, like many people went out. Some data also shows that a lot of people did not do compliance, all that. And also I believe there's a lot of mixed messaging, like from local officials, and there is a discrepancy between local officials and state officials, and that may have caused quite a lot of issue in people's perception and so on. One interesting case is which is actually connected to us in the computer scientists is the Florida's data tracking. So it's actually a very well publicized case of Rebecca Jones, who was in charge of like monitoring these systems of tracking how many people got affected, and then she was fired. And she gave like lots of interviews and so on. What she has said is that two things. One is that there was pressure from the administration, from the very top, to to manipulate the data so that some of the counties they actually looked at, okay, they have fewer patients and they have like fewer infection rates, so that they're open for like quick reopening very soon and so on. And also, so one particular thing that she pointed out is that one thing that's called is a positivity rate. Like if you do 100 tests, how many people comes out positive? And what they did was that for one particular person, if he has like multiple negatives, they counted all of that, but they counted positive ones. So many people get tested multiple times. For example, the salon workers. So like if I get tested 15 times and they're negative, it will be counted like 15 negative. But if I get positive once, it will be counted as one positive. And that's why the positivity rate is down. And that's why when Florida reopened, it could actually show that there are like federal guidelines of CDC guidelines, like how many positivity rate and so on. So for many counties, that's what at least she argues, is that the data was presented in a way that it fulfills the federal guideline. Uh, and that's how it was not actually under control. It was given a false perception. So at this point, I believe it has plateaued, and it is plateauing, and it's coming under control. But I believe that like over the next few weeks, at least, the repercussions will be felt, and many people will suffer from that. Yeah. So
2 minutes left. Are you done?
Yep, I'm done.
Great. Let's clap for Wasifur. Any question for Florida? So Wasifur, one thing, if there's no question, I can ask some question. Like, looks like there is a problem with compliance. And do you think the religion has to do with it, or education?
I mean, so if you get some first-hand account from that debate, for example, some of them really believe that like God does not want us to wear masks because He has given us a wonderful organ to breathe, and somehow we are like putting obstacle on top of that. So uh, as someone who tries to be religious myself, I believe it's completely BS. My understanding is that there was a lot of mixed messaging. And my guess is that the people who are sending the message, their agenda was business, reopening their state, getting their business running as soon as they can, earn money. And there are lots of people who, for some reason, they're not well equipped to like judge all the data. They have some source of information, and they can be manipulated easily. So that's my understanding. It's a combination of both of them, both of that. Like there's some very limited source of data, and there are very weird like conspiracy theories. Like somehow, like for example, like Mr. Bill Gates, like after I think 5 years ago, he gave a talk on why the next pandemic will be a big thing and so on. And I watched the talk before. It's completely reasonable. It's not him. Like many people have said that, but for some reason that somehow proves that Bill Gates has like created this coronavirus. And in the town hall, many people actually alluded to that. They actually sort of believe that. I don't know how, but they actually believe that.
So I think it has to go back to lack of education awareness.
Yes. But yes,
sort of attributed to this.
For the general population, but I believe there are people whose main agenda, there are people who understands the complete thing. They're manipulating with these people's lack of general education.
Right.
Yeah, and I think there are like I saw videos about during the spring break, like the college students said they would rather get the COVID, but not to like lost their spring break on the beach. So yeah.
And to be honest, like in these cases, like for example, in New York, the messaging was generally speaking consistent, but it's difficult to get people follow through because it's very difficult for people to be inside their houses. I'm an extreme introvert, but it's getting difficult for me quite a lot. So I can understand that, but the problem is that when there's a lot of conflicting messaging going on, then it's very easy for people to just say that all of these are conspiracy. Let's just go out in the sunshine and enjoy the beach. So,
All right, last word for Vashish.
Oh, thank you, Professor. Just a quick question. So, did they implement something on the lines of contact tracing, or did they have any app or something like that, or were they not in that phase at all?
I did not find, at least my preliminary examination, I did not find it, but they have contact tracing. They have manual contact tracing in some cases. And I saw reports that they're getting a lot of backlash from the young population because they're the primary affected group, but they don't want to share data with people, like where they were, who most probably affected them, or where they were partying and so on. So for example, if you go to the site of Florida, you will see that how the cases, the source of the cases, the vast majority of the cases are unspecified. They're still under investigation. And because I believe that the contact tracer does not know where the cases originated from.
Okay. All right, cool. Thank you.